Well, welcome once again, Channel 18's Community Journal. And Sue Jusell is with us, the town nurse. And we're going to talk about some very important things. We're all sweltering this week, and promise for the future, I think we're going to have a very hot summer. So we're going to start with a question for Susan. Can we get enough hydration?
Yes, you can get enough and you can get not enough. So I guess with the issue with hydration is the general rule of thumb is there's people out there on fluid restrictions and there are people out there that need to drink extra fluids. The rule of thumb is you need an extra 1 to 2 glasses all summer long than you do the rest of the year. So if you usually drink 4 to 6 glasses a day, hopefully at least, then you're going to be drinking 6 to 8. The problem is, people on fluid restrictions, those are the people I don't want to direct in any way. You know what you should be doing because you've discussed it with your doctor. But people that are not on fluid restrictive diets, those are the ones that I really want to speak to right now. Is be sure that you're drinking enough. Many blood pressures that I check, people come into the wellness clinic today, not particularly just today, but all summer long they'll come in. And the clinic is from 9 to 12 every Wednesday here at the community center. They'll come in and their blood pressures are anywhere from 10 to even 20 points lower than usual. And for people that run a really healthy blood pressure to start with, we find that their blood pressures are then too low and find out that they feel a little dizzy sometimes, or they lack the strength to keep going on the activities that they enjoy doing every day. So hydration is really important. If you're not hydrated, you're most likely not going to feel well.
Now there's heat and there's humidity. Is there a different effect on the human body when the humidity gets very high vis-a-vis just a hot sun?
Does it affect you differently?
Yes, it does.
It affects me differently. Scientifically, I have no idea, but I can say that when you're out there and you're in the community, if it's really humid, people are not feeling well. And they do report about the ozone layer. I know yesterday the ozone layer was at a factor where it was a concern for our breathing. And I would only assume that it is again today. And then we do have to deal with people that have respiratory issues. You look at people who have asthma or COPD or any of the other issues that make it difficult for you to breathe, or anyone that might be on oxygen. You need to be so careful because when it's so oppressive like that, it really does affect your quality of air. Here at the community center, we are open from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, and then on Saturdays we close at 5. But that's 6 days a week we're open through the real hot part of the day. And if you wanted to get up and come in, and we have lunches here, 4 days a week now. It used to be 3, 4 days a week. We could try and accommodate whatever's going on.
I'll have you on Channel 18.
Yeah, why not?
Very good. Now, glasses of water, there are cups for 6 ounces, 8 ounces, and then there's these bottles of water. You should drink whatever you're accustomed to drinking when you say, drink so many glasses of water, or should you have so many ounces of water?
Well, ounces of water, but I don't want to start directing people to do something different or to change their routines.
Okay.
But whatever you're used to drinking, you want to increase that in the summertime.
Right.
So, for some people, they don't drink enough to start with. So in the summertime, if you're just drinking the same amount, you're going to end up with the risk of a urinary tract infection. You're going to end up with an increased risk of falls because you're on the borderline of dehydration and you're not going to feel as well, and you can't fight off any type of cold as well if you're dehydrated. So it's really very important just to be sure that you're drinking enough fluids. And if you wanted to discuss what enough fluids is for you personally, my phone number is 508-430-7505. I'm happy to, take it case by case and talk to anyone about what they should be drinking. And, when people are not drinking enough and they're, even if they're, borderline dehydrated and the weather is oppressive like this, they don't want to cook. So then they're not eating enough. So it starts to kind of topple on each other, where you go from not drinking enough because of the weather to, because you're not drinking enough, then you're borderline dehydrated, and then you're not eating either. So then you really need somebody to help either bring in a meal for you, or maybe do some grocery shopping for you, or do a few things for you that you really can't manage when it's really hot. And when you need a little extra help, there is plenty of help out there, and you deserve to have that. So again, I would like to help anybody that needs a little extra assistance, especially in the summertime.
Now, in terms of eating, you want to, in this weather, I assume a lot of people, myself included, are moved towards cold meals.
Yeah.
You know, a slice of turkey or a slice of ham, or savvy one, a little, well,
something
potato
simple.
salad or some coleslaw or something.
Yeah.
Now, is that a safe way to go in terms of satisfying the needs of the body in times like this?
Yeah, you know, I'm looking for calorie intake. You just want to be sure that you are taking in calories at least 3 times a day. And again, the amount of calories you take in varies greatly depending on who you are. But you should be eating 3 times a day, at least 3 times a day. So I would like to see somebody get up and within the first 2 hours of being up, have their first meal. And be sure that you've had a glass or 2 to drink by noontime at least. But when we talk about the deli meat, the potato salad,
that might get a rise.
things like this, you know, you're looking at the increased sodium intake because you're not preparing proteins and preparing fresh vegetables and cooking it yourself. You're buying things that are prepared for you. Anything prepared for you has more sodium in them. So you need to be careful with that because, you know, Paul, this time of year, people's legs will swell regardless as to what you're eating. So if you go adding more sodium to your diet, you're going to deal with more fluid that's, you know, staying inside your body. And then people will ask me, well, if I'm retaining fluid in my legs, why am I still drinking? So it's a good question.
Yes.
But it's all a matter of how the vascular system is working and what we can do to help people get the swelling down and help your heart manage the amount of fluid that's in your body. But it's very imperative you continue to drink. And if your legs swell, please elevate them. Get them up higher than your heart if you can, even for an hour during the day. Go back to bed, put your feet up on a couple of pillows, put your fan on, put your AC on in your bedroom. But, you know, get your legs up if they are swelling. But watch your sodium. The fast foods, the frozen foods, the deli meats, those are just, you know, some of the biggest insults for our body. So, you know, just to try and modify those things. If you can pick up a rotisserie chicken at the Stop and Shop, you know, if you live by yourself, that could give you 3 or 4 good meals. You can cut that up into a chicken salad, and there's a lot of different things you can do where then you know how much salt is in your food, but you don't have to actually turn the oven on and cook the chicken yourself.
Now, drinks. A lot of people are going to substitute juice and coffee and soda. Not so good or acceptable?
Again, separate for everyone. I can't give one broad answer. Soda, of course, is never going to be anyone's first choice of, yes, that's what you should be drinking. Ginger ale's a great choice if you enjoy ginger ale. There's a lot of other sparkling sodas that you can enjoy that are very good for you. You know, this might be a nice time to try something. Even, you know, take one of the sparkling sodas and add a little juice to it rather than a soda. So, yeah, I'm not keen on soda, you know, moderation for sure.
Aren't you glad that I do all the right things?
You know, coffee, that's fine. You don't want to be drinking caffeinated coffee all day long. But if you're used to your 2 glasses in the morning, absolutely, you should still be having them. But be sure that you're having an adequate amount of hydration above and beyond your coffee.
How about iced tea?
That's wonderful.
The same thing?
Yeah, and, you know, iced tea, again, you want to choose the decaffeinated iced tea if you can. If that's your choice of what you want to drink all day, there's no reason why you can't drink decaf tea all day long. But you don't want to be drinking the caffeinated tea all day long or the caffeinated iced coffee all day long.
Yeah, it did get you a good point.
That was a good one. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, you know, modify what you're drinking, you know, if you're gonna have iced tea, have the decaf iced tea, the coffee, the decaf. You know, a couple glasses of something caffeinated every day is perfectly fine.
Now, people don't have air conditioners. You know, they're pretty limited. What can they do to keep their body kind of temperature regulated? Anything, or just come into the community
No,
center?
there's certainly things you could do. I mean, first of all, we want to hear from you. If you're at home and you're having a problem, we want to hear from you. I mean, we're here to help you be safe and be happy at home. And, you know, if you need a fan or you have an air conditioner you need to put in, we want to hear from you. We want to see what your problems are and help you work through whatever issues you have. This time of year, you do need at least a fan blowing on you. If you don't have a fan, you can't afford a fan, I mean, that's something that we need to evaluate and start to work out for you. But an air conditioner is not something that everybody feels they need. Some people don't feel as affected by this humidity as you and I. But just having a place to come sometimes is enough. But if you want to stay at your own house, you know, try and keep the windows open. People think if you keep them closed, it'll stay, you know, a lot more cool. Maybe if your house is completely in the shade, it's possible. But for the most part, you're better off to open the windows, get some ventilation through the house, and you know, try to stay hydrated, try and stay out of the sun during the daytime, you know, and just limit your activity so you're not up, you know, challenging yourself to keep yourself going and keeping the house clean. And, you know, this is when it's really oppressive like this is your time to take it easy and give yourself a break. If you can't keep up with the cleaning or the cooking, this is the time to, you know, step back and let somebody else help you.
Very good. I got to admit, yesterday I did nothing for the first time in a long time.
Good. And see, you're here feeling good because you made some good choices yesterday. If you choose to push yourself too hard, you're gonna have a rebound effect from that. You're not gonna feel as well the next day, or you could even make yourself sick. So when you know that the weather is really hot and humid like this, and you know that you're not feeling 100%, I applaud you for knowing you need to slow down or even take a break and just relax, you know, and not make yourself sick over trying to keep up with things.
Okay. Well, if you've been listening, you certainly have a lot of information, and so I remind you that programs can be, we're going to be on YouTube this week because of problems here at Channel 18. So you can, I think, pretty much tune us in the same time you would ordinarily by tuning into YouTube. But be sure you do, because Susan has given us a lot of good information that will help us through this hot weather, hot humid weather. And I know I always learn something when I talk with Susan. And as you could tell, I don't do everything right either.
You know, I think it's also important, we all know what we're supposed to be doing, but just a little reminder to keep doing it, or if you've kind of stopped doing it, to start back up. And also the sunscreen, I'm all in favor of using sunscreen, but I promise you that during the hot part of the day, sunscreen's not enough. You have got to cover up. You've got to wear a hat, you've got to wear something over your arms or get under an umbrella. Just having sunscreen on is not enough to prevent you from burning in the hot part of the day.
Wow.
Okay?
Oh.
I feel very strongly about that. So I hope that everybody's using something that has UVA, UVB protection, and that you've got a hat that's comfortable, that will stay on your head, and just really try to prevent the burning.
I hope so. I know I went looking for some yesterday. I still have a good can of 80 Neutrogena.
Is it from last year?
No,
Oh,
I bought
okay.
it this year.
Oh,
No.
good.
I already used up last year.
Well, last year's might not be good anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
that's gone.
Good.
Thank goodness.
That's great.
But anyhow, and so when I went to the counter, the area, there was none around.
Oh.
So I guess there's a lot. Looks as though there could have been a lot of salve, but anyhow, that's good too. So take care of your body, take care of your health. Be sure you hydrate yourself and eat regularly.